Manchester United are probably very happy with the way their last season went. After all, they won a trophy and got into another final. But it's all about building on that, right? This is how Manchester United are expected to line up next season, along with a few of the transfers they might make. One of the things that you might notice from the side in attack is that rather than a standard 4-2-3-1 formation, they're instead looking at a really aggressive 4-1-4-1. We'll get to why that's happening later, but it all sort of comes down to recruitment. I don't know whether that's going to leave them short-handed at the back or whether they'll need to sort of adapt with their lineups depending on what their opposition have to throw at them. It's an interesting new approach, and I think it could yield some great results against lower teams. So now we know the structure that the side's going to play in, it's sort of important to know the players in the system, so we'll start with the defence. Now, I'm sure it won't surprise anyone, David De Gea is basically gone. His deal's running out, he's not agreed a new one with the club, so they'll look for a replacement, and the replacement looks to be Onana from Inter Milan. Basically, a combination of the goalkeeper's excellent shot stopping and his passing range means that he gives Ten Hag a little bit more flexibility. Weirdly, the defence picks itself with no real changes. Varane and Martinez works perfectly well. The only issue last season was injuries, so if they can stay injury-free, they're in the lineup. On the left wing, you can expect to see Roberto Carlos coming back. He's just very good, isn't he, on his day? You might want a little bit more backup for him, but don't necessarily need it. Right back's a little bit more interesting. I'd suggest starting with Diogo Dalot, but against more tricky opposition like your Man Cities, your Liverpools, maybe consider Wan-Bissaka just for a little bit more defensive solidity. We do, however, see some changes when we start to look at the midfield. Where the defence is mostly consistent, there's a few changes in the middle of the park. The first adjustment isn't in holding midfield, however. Casemiro did a good enough job last season, although he's a little bit feisty sometimes, tends to get himself sent off. If he can get that temper under control, he'll be great for Man United controlling the middle of the pitch. Bruno Fernandes also retains his role as like a number 10 or an aggressive 8. He's really good at sort of causing havoc with opponent midfields. I know this because I support a different football team. He's really annoying from a different side's perspective, but I'm sure Man United fans love him, so I'm sure you're happy to see him in the team. The change, however, is Mason Mount. You don't spend £60+ million only to leave them on the bench. He'll cover roughly the same job as Fernandes, which is why I'm saying that Casemiro will have to do like all of the holding midfield job on his own. Unless, of course, Mount does a lot more pressing and then more proactive rather than counter-attacking. Now, you've got such a creative midfield, you need an attack to finish the chances. Manchester United could have just that with just one change. The left wing picks itself. Obviously, it's Marcus Rashford. He had such a good season last year. If he can keep anything like that form going, especially with the creativity of Mount and Fernandes behind him, there could be a lot more goals to come, and they could start to threaten Man City, Newcastle, Arsenal, preferably for a title. Who knows? On the other wing, Antony is probably the right player to play. Admittedly, he had an okay season in his first year. He did a little bit too much tricky stuff from an outsider's perspective rather than focusing on the basics, but he could learn and adapt to the league. Centre forward, however, is where Manchester United are likely to struggle. They don't have one at the moment. Currently, Rasmus Hojlund from Atalanta is one of the main candidates. Manchester United are reportedly looking to pay up to €60 million for him, and it could be a really good investment because he set Serie A on fire last year. That was what we expect a Manchester United first 11 to look like next season. If it all clicks together, it could genuinely be a little bit of a title push and force Man City all the way to the line. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, like and subscribe. See you later.